Headlines of VTV News. Thousands visit Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum on April 30th victory. Trade unions and enterprises strive to ensure workers' needs. And later on in our world news, global negotiations to establish a treaty for eliminating plastic pollution.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello and welcome to VTV News, broadcast live to you from Hanoi. You're with me, Lina Pham, and here's the top news of the hour. The National Assembly is scheduled to convene an extraordinary session on May the 2nd to consider personnel work under its authority. The extraordinary session will be held at the National Assembly building in Hanoi, according to a press communique from the National Assembly General Secretary. This is the 7th extraordinary session the National Assembly has convened during its 15th tenure. The Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum in Hanoi welcomed 19,000 guests as people flocked to celebrate the April 30th and May the 1st holidays. From early morning, individuals from various parts of the country lined up outside the mausoleum. Despite the blazing sunshine, visitors flocked to the mausoleum to express their gratitude to President Ho Chi Minh, who devoted his entire life to the cause of national independence and freedom of Vietnam. The mausoleum is located at Ba Dinh Square, where President Ho Chi Minh read the Declaration of Independence on September 2nd, 1945, proclaiming the country's independence and the foundation of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam, now the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. May the 1st is International Workers' Day, also known as the Day of Action for the International Labor Movement and Workers. Care activities are organized worldwide to acknowledge the contributions of workers to their country's development. Taking care of workers is not only the responsibility of trade unions at all levels, but also of enterprises. The greatest desire for most workers is a safe working environment and a fair income to support their families.
Although Saw and her husband are originally from Lai Châu province, they have been working in Bắc Ninh for over 3 years. They work during the day and return to their rental home at night. They minimize all expenses to maximize their savings.
My income currently ranges from $276 to $315 per month. It's challenging to live on this income and still send money back home.
The average wage of workers in industrial zones currently ranges from $276 to $394 per month. In families where both spouses work, all expenses must be minimized so they can send money back home to support their family. After a challenging year, their primary hope is for more job opportunities and improved income.
We have to save up to care for our children.
For example, we walk instead of driving to the company to save some money.
Trade unions at all levels are responsible for protecting workers' benefits. Many care activities have also been held in May, the labor month.
There are greater benefits in the agreement than those stated in the laws. This satisfies the workers and is also within the financial capabilities of enterprises. It has mutual benefits for both employees and employers.
We strive to remove obstacles for enterprises and propose that they implement welfare programs to improve the living standards of workers. This way, they become more committed to the enterprises and the labor confederation.
Welfare initiatives are organized by both enterprises and trade unions. These initiatives include health checkups, medication distribution, and visits and gifts. In many enterprises, trade unions proactively negotiate with employers to retain jobs, avoid layoffs, and ensure wages and bonuses on holidays.
For years, protecting the legal and legitimate rights of union members and workers has always been a priority for trade unions at all levels. With the goal of ensuring safety and peace of mind, the trade unions have proposed many recommendations on legislation to better care for and protect the rights of workers.
Twice a day, the production team arranges time for Phie to go to the milking room and store milk to bring back to her baby after work. She is also allowed to leave work an hour early each day or take 3 days off a month. For female workers raising infants, this is a significant relief, allowing them to come to the factory and work with peace of mind every day.
This may seem minor, but it truly demonstrates the company's and the union's significant concern for female workers.
Employees are the ones who generate wealth for us. They strive for us, so we want to give them the best.
After working hours, workers here can participate in many different sports on the field, funded by the business, located on the rooftop of the factory.
The football fields here provide a space for relaxation after stressful work hours. In addition, the union organizes numerous activities annually.
Peace of mind at work and safety in accommodations are realized in Chanok Industrial Park, Cần City. Self-managed boarding houses have become places where workers truly feel comfortable after a hard day's work.
It's been very safe here, with no bad incidents or gambling at all. Generally, going to work is very secure because there's a camera at the front of the alley.
We will continue to build more housing for workers and deploy security and safety measures. Peace of mind at work and safety in accommodation are the two most important conditions for workers to stay with the business.
The General Confederation of Labor is implementing specific measures to create a safe working environment and improve living conditions for union members and workers. Therefore, they can live peacefully, contribute to businesses, and develop the local and national economy.
International Monetary Fund (IMF) has just released a report on the economic outlook for the Asia-Pacific region. In particular, this region's economy this year and in 2025 is estimated to have lower growth than last year. But there are some still economies with better growth, including Vietnam.
Last quarter, Vietnam's GDP increased by 5.66%. Higher than the growth rate of the first quarter of all years from 2020 to present. Although lower than the average level before COVID-19 pandemic, it is a step to create good momentum for the whole year and the following years. This also reflects that the economy continues to be stable, inflation is under control, and major balances are guaranteed.
Exports growth was very strong, so that was very positive. And that is very supportive of continuing growth. But the domestic demand, like private consumption by families, was very weak. So that's a risk.
From the foundation of the Vietnam and United States Comprehensive Strategic Partnership, many large American corporations are researching expanding their supply chains in Vietnam. American companies are also particularly interested in exploiting Vietnam's potential in the fields of high-quality human resource training, semiconductors, and clean energy.
Vietnam already has a lot of generation of renewable, but needs to continue to invest on that and link it to the transmission line so that you can provide energy to all the business in the entire Vietnam, so you don't have problems like in the past.
To improve growth quality, some experts suggest that Vietnam should focus on fiscal policy, rather than focusing too much on monetary policy, and at the same time strengthen the capacity of the banking system to better monitor the financial situation of member businesses in both the public and private sectors.
The disbursement of public investment in the first 4 months of this year was estimated to meet 14.66% of the set target and 15.65% of the plan assigned by the Prime Minister, according to the Ministry of Finance. 7 ministries and central agencies and 35 localities posted estimated disbursement rates higher than the national average. The ministry said that although the disbursement rate of public investment in all fields is improving, improving, there remain many obstacles hindering the disbursement progress, such as those related to key national projects. Many localities have yet to complete their detailed plans on the allocation of state budget to component projects in their localities. The 5-day holiday from April 30th to May the 5th provides people with ample time for travel and relaxation. However, during these days, thousands of workers at key transportation construction sites across the country have braved the scorching heat of over 40 degrees Celsius to speed up construction progress. Their goal is to complete the project as quickly as possible while maintaining the highest quality.
Machinery and labor are being maximized. Construction work on the Hàm Nghi Vũng Áng Expressway project operates continuously without any days off. Several workers have even volunteered to remain on site throughout the holiday.
We all try our best for the progress and quality of the project.
The company has a good policy for the holidays, so we are very excited to work.
This is the most favorable time for construction. Therefore, the spirit is heightened at all key transport projects throughout the holiday.
The company policy is to ensure the rights of workers and to push the project to finish early.
Direct managers may have a day off, while the workforce will continue construction throughout the holiday.
Currently, at the east section of the North-South Expressway project, phase 2021 to 2025, is being implemented simultaneously in 12 component projects. The Ministry of Transport is committed to putting some sections of the total 723 kilometers of the project into operation earlier than planned, by 3 to 6 months.
Coming up next, 10 crew members rescued from distress in Nam Định waters. And beach tourism attracts tourists during the holiday. Welcome back to VTV News. During a journey to Quy Nhơn, 10 crew members of a cargo ship encountered an incident and were promptly assisted by the Maritime Rescue Force. Specifically, the ship was transporting 3,000 tons of cement from Phúc Sơn Port in Hải Dương to Quy Nhơn. However, the ship tidaled and ran aground approximately 5 nautical miles southwest of the Ba Lạt Gate in Nam Định. The Vietnam Maritime Search and Rescue Coordination Center mobilized resources in the area and coordinated with the forces of the Nam Định Province Border Guard Command to assist the distressed ship. By the afternoon of April the 30th, all 10 crew members were safely rescued and brought back to shore. As the drought persists, many people in the Central Highlands have been implementing various solutions to actively seek water sources for irrigation. Among these solutions, creating ponds and small lakes to store water is considered to be effective, cost-saving, and feasible for many households.
This man has given up 2 rice fields in his family to dig ponds for water storage, after witnessing the lack of irrigation water in many neighboring areas. To him, this was a timely decision.
In the past, people competed for every drop of water during droughts, so our villagers dug ponds to store water for production and irrigation. So while waiting for rain, we still had that water source.
Currently, most households in drought-prone areas of the Central Highlands have been digging ponds and small lakes on agricultural land. This solution helps ensure a water source to save crops and reduces the overuse of groundwater, which is an alarming situation in the Central Highlands.
This year, the heat kicked in earlier than usual. I rented 6 drilling wells but still couldn't find water. Now, I have to rent excavation machines to dig and store water because there's no other way.
The district has also advised people to dig ponds in available areas to store water for irrigation during the dry season, and irrigation should be as economical as possible.
According to experts, due to the extremely complex and unpredictable climate change situation, it's highly likely that next year's dry season will be even longer and more severe. Consequently, many local authorities are encouraging and partially funding individuals to dig ponds and small lakes. This effort is intended to secure a water supply for the upcoming crop season.
Approximately 200,000 visitors were estimated to have visited Ho Chi Minh City during the national holiday, resulting in room occupancy reaching about 75%, a 2.7% increase over the previous year. An estimated 969,000 visitors were reported at entertainment destinations during this year's holiday. The revenue generated is estimated at over 3 trillion Vietnamese dongs, a 3.4% increase from the same period last year. Tourist traffic to surrounding destinations like Vũng Tàu and Nha Trang via road also saw an increase. The Ho Chi Minh City's tourism stimulus program launched in early April, bringing together nearly 100 travel businesses, accommodation establishments, dining establishments, and entertainment establishments. It included 36 travel programs offering discounts ranging from 10 to 60%. In the Bình Sơn Ninh Chữ beach area, the number of tourists visiting the beaches has increased despite the influx of people, which is 2 to 3 times larger than usual. Security, order, rescue, and environmental sanitation have been maintained and no incidents have been recorded. On the 4th day of the April 30th and May the 1st holidays, the heat wave continued across most of the country. However, there are still many tourists choosing to visit famous tourist destinations, especially areas with cool climates, unique landscapes, and culture.
Many tourists choose Tuyên Quang as a destination for short tours. It is estimated that Tuyên Quang province welcomed nearly 10,000 tourists on this occasion. The highlight is the International Hot Air Balloon Festival, brocade color performance, and discovery tour in Nha Hang and Lâm Bình districts.
During the 4-day holiday, Dong Văn district has welcomed a total of 1,989 tourist groups with over 20,000 visitors, including more than 7,000 international visitors. Famous tourist attractions attract a large number of visitors such as Lũng Cú National Flagpole, Dốc Thẩm Mã Stop, Vương Family Mansion, and Dong Văn Town's Old Quarter area.
In Sơn La, the temperature in Mộc Châu is quite cool. The air is fresh and suitable for resort tourism. In the first 3 days of the holiday, this mountainous district welcomes 70,500 tourists to visit, experience, and relax.
The holiday is also a chance for Ninh Bình to organize many activities, cultural events, and attractive entertainment programs to celebrate 10th anniversary of Chang'an heritage, being recognized as a World Cultural and Natural Heritage. An estimated 30,000 visitors came to Chang'an in the first 3 days of the holiday. The management board starts selling tickets from 5:30 a.m., 1.5 hours earlier than usual. The work of ensuring security and environmental sanitation is always guaranteed to preserve the landscape of the world's cultural and natural heritage.
The number of tourists coming to ecotourism destinations in Thừa Thiên Huế increased 2 to 3 times compared to normal days. Visitors experience the fresh, pristine mountain scenery and enjoy cuisine with typical rustic dishes of the people.
The Ponagar Festival, the largest traditional folk festival in Khánh Hòa province, takes place on the holidays of April the 30th and May the 1st. The value of heritage is consistently affirmed through this festival. It serves as a symbol of solidarity, attracting participation from both Kinh and Cham people.
Leaving the Cham villages in Ninh Thuận and Bình Thuận provinces in the middle of the night, many Cham families arrive at the Ponagar Tower in Nha Trang by sunrise. The entire Cham village gather around the ancient tower, practicing sacrificial rituals passed down from ancient times.
The Ponagar Tower originally belonged to the Cham people, so every year, the Cham people from across the country come here to worship.
Also at the festival, Kinh people come to the Ponagar Tower to perform a shadow dance ritual imbued with folk believed to worship Mother Thiên Yana. The practices of the Kinh people who worship the Mother Goddess and the Cham people who worship Mother Thiên Yana occur in the same place, the Ponagar Tower. Researchers confirm that this is a religious synthesis, a harmony of belief, thereby creating an exemplary, unique Ponagar festival.
Ponagar Tower is a cultural, spiritual, and belief connection, especially the mother worship customs of both Kinh and Cham people.
Since 2012, the Ponagar Festival has been recognized as a national intangible cultural heritage. This year, more than 100 groups of pilgrims have come to the Ponagar Tower. The number of people and tourists participating in the festival has also increased because it coincides with the holidays. Above all, the appeal of the Ponagar Tapa Festival lies in its cultural depth.
The Cham people are open to absorbing the King's culture. The Kinh people are open to absorbing the Cham's culture. So this festival is a cultural mix and demonstrates cultural tolerance.
The Ponagar Festival is a gathering place for cultural diversity of ethnic communities in the South Central and Central Highlands. People come here to pray for peace in the country through unique rituals.
Coming up next in our world news, global negotiations to establish a treaty for eliminating plastic pollution. And bird flu may infect cows outside the U.S. The fourth session of the Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee on Plastic Pollution concluded on Tuesday in Ottawa, Canada. The meeting yielded a landmark treaty draft aiming for a legally binding international agreement on plastic pollution by the end of this year. The closing session extended 5 hours beyond the scheduled time to finalize the draft. However, there remain numerous conflicting views on issues such as the management of primary plastics and single-use plastic products. These matters will be resolved during the final round of negotiations anticipated to occur in November in Busan, South Korea. The World Health Organization, or WHO, warned on Tuesday that the H5N1 bird flu virus present in many wild birds could infect cows in countries beyond the United States during migration. This warning was issued after the first cases of the disease were reported in the U.S., where the source of infection was migratory birds. According to the head of WHO's Global Influenza Program, when birds carrying the H5N1 virus migrate, they could potentially spread the disease to cattle herds in other countries. WHO officials stated that the overall public health risk posed by the virus is low, but urged vigilance, especially among farm workers. Although the virus is not believed to be transmitted through milk, the WHO still recommends consuming only pasteurized milk. The Eurozone economy avoided recession with higher than expected growth in the first quarter. The Eurozone, consisting of 20 countries, achieved a growth of 0.3% in the first quarter compared to the previous quarter. Previously, analysts had forecasted a growth rate of 0.1%. In the second half of 2023, the Eurozone entered a technical recession after experiencing negative growth in the last 2 quarters. However, the recovery momentum in the Eurozone is currently uneven, with the service sector growing stronger than expected, while manufacturing activity declined. Newly released data continues to strengthen market confidence in the possibility that the European Central Bank will cut interest rates next June. A new exhibition opening at the British Museum this week seeks to shine a light on the final decades of the great Renaissance artist Michelangelo. Michelangelo, the last decades, looks at his final years in Rome, starting with drawings for the Last Judgment and Epiphania, one of the only 2 surviving cartoons by the artist. The exhibition also includes other sketches, poems, letters, and studies for Michelangelo's architectural projects.
Michelangelo left his native Florence for Rome in 1534 at the age of 59, summoned by Pope Clement VII to paint a fresco of the Last Judgment in the Sistine Chapel, where decades earlier he had painted the ceiling for Pope Julius II.
We know Michelangelo for the Pietà, we know Michelangelo for the David, we know Michelangelo for the Sistine Chapel ceiling. And yet these are works that Michelangelo is producing in his 20s and in his 30s. And yet Michelangelo had an extraordinarily long life by the standards of the time.
The exhibition reunites Michelangelo's drawings with paintings done by collaborators and features letters written to his nephew, Leonardo Buonarroti. One letter, written on his behalf, bears what is said to be Michelangelo's last known signature before he died 4 days later, in February 1564.
So we open with really most of the preparatory drawings for this vast project. This was a hugely complex, the Last Judgment, the damnation and salvation of human souls. This is a very, very complex subject. There are huge amounts of figures. It's a very large wall, so there was a huge amount for Michelangelo to plan. And we give you some drawings that give a flavor of the complexity.
Michelangelo, The Last Decades opens to the public on May 2nd and runs until July 28th.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast. And that's it for this edition of VTV News. Thank you very much for watching. To rewatch our program, you can download VTVgo from App Store or Google Play, or tune in our YouTube channel at youtube.com/VTV4Go. Goodbye for now.